Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nasty Grandma RPG podcast. This is Dark Legacy, Episode 9, All This Power.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic. Redemption. Now I'm waking to pain and shaking. My nuts are running.
My dreams, they are more focused in this place. In the past, it had been easier to find the answers in your riddles, Dambala. But this is the path you have shown me, huh? This Monsieur Tantan, he's a good man. He has helped many people escape from the darkness that Monsieur Marlowe fought against in the war, huh? So, why will he and his church, led by his father Stuart, betray the Marlowes throughout history? Even the cards, they did not provide the answers, but I do think that they help shed some of the divine's light on Black Valley. Unless we're able to get some answers from this Father Stuart, then I'm afraid that Monsieur Marlowe's story will end as his ancestors have. With what Monsieur Tandan said and the story the cards tell, I think that we are missing a big part of it. Hopefully we get some answers tonight.
Hey, this is Jake, your storyteller.
Hi, everyone. This is Dan playing Silas the photographer.
Hey, folks, it's John playing Noah Fashnacht, the gunsmith.
Hey, it's Ryan. I'm playing Les Kershaw, the former Pony Express rider who's just trying to hang on to the reins a little bit longer.
Who is Josh playing Kingsley Burke IV, the former politician turned guy who's totally fucked in over his head.
And I am Matt playing Benton Beauclair, the former slave voodoo priest.
A.K.A. Nostradamus.
Well, last game ended with, I think, the best example of failed dice rolls furthering the story that I've seen in a while, when Josh managed to completely fail a 10 dice roll.
Well played. Well played.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I witnessed it.
Anything for the story.
But I liked what it led to. So yeah, Lydia laid her cards down on the table, quite literally, and left the room. And there is no longer a question of whether or not there is something odd about her. The cards and Benton and the general feeling in the room kind of confirmed that. The question now is, what exactly is Lydia? But that will have to wait. Because I believe that you guys have decided to split up, and half of you are going to go kidnap a priest, I think.
It's always a wise decision to split up the party.
Cult leader.
Kingsley Burke and Noah Fashnek are going to stay at the house and keep guard and hang out with the Marlowe family, while Les Kershaw, Silas, and Benton go on a little reconnaissance mission.
Now, who's in more danger?
Well, when we come back, you guys can be vampires, right?
Vampire. Yeah, I guess she bat. She bat. What do we think?
She's Batwoman?
It's Batwoman. Oh boy.
Wow, early days. I don't know what, I mean, could be made up. Jake's capable of that.
If she walks down that long staircase and says, "You're not trapped in here," or "I'm not trapped in here with you," You're trapped in here with me.
You're trapped in here with me.
She's
right.
the prequel to Lost, the smoke monster.
So let's pick up with our recon party on their way to the church. Your plan was kind of to go there in the middle of the night, see if he's alone, see if they're having a meeting. If they're having a meeting, to try to listen in, and if not, to try to sneak in and question him. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. So it is December 23rd, right after midnight. So it's actually December 24th. Excuse me.
It's Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas Eve.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Oh, boy.
I've got a list of duty-free Christmas songs that you're allowed to play. Yes. Pretty good. And the three of you are against the side of this brick townhouse, looking across the street at the church, you see one light, lantern light coming through a basement window, but the rest of the church is quiet and dark. You don't see anyone outside.
Does it have any, like on older homes, they'll sometimes have
Fish drying racks.
fish drying racks. I mean, it's a clear indicator. Am I right? There is no fish drying racks. She did not live there. Case closed.
We should have known.
Yep.
Yeah, I put all the clues, all the breadcrumbs were there.
You've solved my fish drying rack puzzle.
Nailed it. I was going to ask, are there any, in the foundation, like, are there any windows that would look like they would lead to the basement or anything like that?
Yeah, there's basement windows. That's where the light is coming from.
Oh, sorry.
From one of the basement windows.
I thought it was
Yeah.
from the windows up above.
No,
Sorry.
it's so there's basement windows that are probably about 2 feet tall, and there is a light inside the basement.
I throw the Molotov through there.
Okay. And you guys will have to cross the street to get there, but it's late. It is dark, and you haven't seen anyone out and about. Not that you normally would. No, people aren't usually out at this time, but it does seem a little quieter than usual.
Okay. I kind of look between Mr. Kershaw and Mr. Beauclair, and I say, we will have to get closer.
Oui. Do you see a better vantage point?
I think to the glass. I point across the way towards where the light is coming through the window.
Oui.
Well, let's go.
Oui.
I kind of look both ways across the street. I switch to thermal, and then I run across.
All right. Everyone give me stealth and dexterity. This is an opposed roll, so there's no set difficulty. Just keep track of what you got. I'll come right back to you guys. Meanwhile, at the house, Noah, you are on watch up at the Widow's Walk. And Kingsley, you are making your way up there to relieve him. It is just after midnight. As soon as you open the hatch to the Widow's Walk, you're hit by this cold air. The wind is kind of blowing up here at this elevation. And
I look back and see
you see Kingsley climb up.
Mr. Burke.
Noah, have you seen anything? Quiet night so far?
Quiet, yeah.
All of a sudden, John, looking over Kingsley's shoulder, behind him, near the tree line, you see a light.
But, oh,
It looks like maybe a small fire, like a campfire.
I wanted to ask you what you...
What is... Burke. He points over your shoulder. There is a light. I walk over to the other side of the watch.
It's north of the house, right at the tree line.
Kind of squint.
It's hard to make out any details. It's not a very big fire, but it's a stationary fire.
It looks like a firehouse now.
Jake, there's no house in that direction.
No, it's just wilderness past there.
That is mighty odd.
Yeah.
That can't contribute anything to coincidence at this point.
There is only wilderness out there. I think we will... Why don't you take watch? I will go take a look.
You're going to go out there?
We have to make sure it's not dangerous or something, some person out there.
Yes, very well. Do you think should we rouse James?
Yeah. Let me get James.
Be careful, both of you.
You wait up there. You go down and you wake James, and then you head into what's going on.
Dan, stop
Sorry,
passing fucking notes during class.
Sorry.
That's it. Now we have to read it to the class.
No, it's
It's
just
a joke.
It's the chicken is a familiar. It's the same one I've been sending to him.
That's a deep one. That's a deep cut. All right. You make your way down. You let Marlowe know what's going on, and then you make your way outside into the darkness, and you start heading north. Roll stealth and dexterity, and I'll come right back to you.
Okay.
How'd you guys do for successes?
Dose
3
successes for me.
3.
3, 3, and 2. Okay.
Ryan, why don't you tell everybody how many dice it took you to get 3 successes?
There were 5. I moved the 2 fails back over there. Yeah.
Ryan
Only
has
hit
been rolling a lot
60%
of
that
dice.
time. Yeah.
Right. Josh is still bitter after those 10 days.
The 3 of you very quietly cross the street, make your way up to the window, and peer inside. Inside, you see what looks like a sort of function room. Think modern day church basement used for raffles and bingo and whatnot. It's one large big room with a couple tables, pretty much empty. And you see a figure walking around one end of the room. It's a man. He's older. Neither of you have ever met.
Benedict.
Thank you, Benedict Stewart. So you're not certain that it's him, but it fits the description of an old priest. He appears to be the only man in the room.
Putting my ear to the glass or putting my head near the glass, can I hear anything other than, I probably can't even hear his footsteps.
You don't hear
but
anything. Yeah.
I think Silas will probably wait a beat, maybe a minute or two to see if he's waiting for someone to meet him because he's just pacing, right?
No, it looks like he's maybe cleaning up.
Okay. Silas leans back from the glass and faces the two of you, and he says, I cannot tell if he is cleaning in preparation for or cleaning post. I don't know if he's waiting for someone.
Well, that gives us a couple options, yeah. How long do you want to wait?
Jake, I'm going to go over kind of towards the door. Are there any fresh tracks coming out of the church? Or?
There is a door that goes directly into the basement, but you don't see any signs that anyone has. Well, do you want to give me a roll? I don't know. What do we have for tracking?
I have
survival.
I have a specialty in tracking
Oh,
and survival.
Survival tracking. And let's do wits.
As a church, I imagine there's a lot of tracks.
Yeah.
Maybe not so many out of the basement.
Yeah, sure.
3.
There are fresh tracks. People have recently left the church. It's getting cold, and the ground is going to freeze, and because of that, they've sort of left impressions. But it looks like a group of people already came and left.
About what time is it?
It's a little after midnight.
Looks like some folks just headed out.
Silas has kind of stood up from the window and walked down the length of the church to you where the entrance was. And he nods to you, and he looks over to you, Benton, and he says, I believe it's time we faced the priest.
Oui. Benton will click the clasp on his large hunting knife on his belt.
As one does before confession.
Jake,
Forgive me, Father.
I'll reach down for the door.
Yeah.
You open the door. It opens. And you guys go inside?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. John.
Yep. I got a 2.
Did you take Marlowe with you, or are you going solo?
Marlowe did not go with him. You
Yeah.
see him heading out across the lawn alone. See his silhouette on the dark grass. And you get to the tree line, moving pretty quietly. And you see this metal brazier with a small fire in it. And it looks familiar to you. You've seen it before.
Oh, yeah?
It's the same one that was at the bear cave.
I was going to say, have you seen it near some fish racks?
The one that she was burning for soon to be dead
Correct.
Brer. He kind of stops halfway and just eyes it. And then I try to shield my eyes from it and look past it into the darkness.
Yeah, it's hard because the light of the brazier, but you actually see a figure move in the trees. And then you hear a voice, and she says, "Don't shoot. It's me, Ashila."
Achille. Achille. What are you doing here?
I've seen what is to come. There will be death tonight, and those who will die do not deserve it. I'm not sure who it will be. Perhaps my son.
Don't you think the people who are trying to stifle your family's name, to kill your family, your son, they don't deserve?
I worry about the darkness that has allied itself with him.
His wife.
Ah, I suspected. But I thought it may be just the paranoia of a jealous mother. But it is her, isn't it?
He steps forward, like puts the gun down, lowers it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something. Well, he shakes his head. Even so, this curse, these people, what they are doing to your family has surpassed the time since she's been here. It has happened in the past, in England. The darkness, whatever it is, Marlowe does not deserve to die, yeah?
Of course not. He's a good boy. I'll be close by to tend to the wounded, to help how I can after the fighting is over.
Why are they doing it? Why, this whole town, why do they want to kill your son?
I don't know.
There must be a reason.
Meanwhile, at the church, you walk in.
I assume we're walking down the steps.
Yeah,
towards-
there's like 3 steps down into this room, and as you walk in, you hear this priest go, "Hello, who is that?"
Father Stewart.
You see the lantern move, and he starts walking towards you, not knowing who is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that?
My name is Mr. Silas Keene.
He stops, and you see the lantern light, like the lantern opens a bit more to let more light out, kind of blinds the 3 of you for a moment.
Can I see his expression?
No, you
Okay.
can't.
Lower that lantern, Father.
You're the friends of Marlowe.
I expected you would know us.
He closes the lantern, so only a dim light sort of comes out from the cracks in the sides of it. And he walks over and puts it on a table.
May we sit?
You may do as you wish.
We're here to discuss some things with you. We are hoping you will be honest and truthful.
You guys all kind of walk closer.
Yeah, I walk into the room.
Okay.
And I sit down on, one of the pews that's probably down there
Mm-hmm.
and kind of look towards him across the table.
Benton's going to stay close to the door. If there's a lock, he's going to lock the door behind them.
There is like a slide lock on the door. So he could open it, but, it would slow him down for a second. So
And I'm guessing there are stairs heading up to the.
upstairs. Yeah.
I'm gonna loop around to the stairs.
Kind of stand in front of him.
Yep.
Okay.
I say, Father Stewart, in my previous line of work, I traded in secrets and information. And during those times, there is a time for intrigue. There is a time to bluff, to protect your information, to protect your agenda, to feign ignorance, if you will. But I would like to suggest we dispense with such things. We come here knowing about some plot against Mr. Marlowe, one that involves this town and its people. And we know you to at least be at the forefront of that information.
Yes, I suppose you're right. The time for subterfuge is past.
Silas kind of nods his head.
I suppose it is fortunate you have come here. By now, the last of my order is at the house.
My eyes kind of flash towards Benton and Kershaw.
He says, it's pointless. By now they have either succeeded or failed. I would like to have faith that they would succeed, that their mission is just. But there is something else at work. You know of it.
Silas is nodding as he's kind of finishing his words, and he says,
Something has disrupted this tradition, and I fear that our last-ditch effort, even now as we speak, is failing. So perhaps that gives me one final chance.
Just
to convince us?
He nods.
Give us the why of it then, Father.
For most, it is a matter of faith. They have been raised knowing this truth. They have seen the scriptures. They have heard the stories growing up. And they believe just as one believes in Jesus Christ. But for all of you, he kind of looks at Benton. You are not the faithful. It will take more to convince you, if you are willing.
Did we ride out here?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably walked. You
I
didn't
say-
want to have horses.
Well, Father, I think you would be surprised. Our eyes are open.
Come with me, then. Meanwhile, at the house, Marlowe comes up to the Widow's Walk to see you, Burke. You're watching that tree line, watching that fire. You see Noah get out there. You see him walk right up to that fire, and he's there for a couple minutes. You can't hear him, so you probably can't hear what he's saying. He's probably talking pretty quietly out there. And the lawn is pretty huge.
Yeah.
So he's just
It's
a
an estate.
distant figure on the tree line. But he's doing something. He's not shooting his rifle, so that's a good sign. Marlowe comes up and says, "What's going on?"
Oh, James, well, I thought Noah was going to rouse you, but there was a light, some sort of fire in the tree line over yonder, and he went out to investigate. It appears there's not much of a threat. He's, as far as I can tell, moved in, speaking with whoever's out there, or perhaps investigating a scene, but I don't know. Obviously, there's no light in the tree line around this house that bears good tidings this December 23rd.
He says, "It's the 24th now. It's about 1 a.m.
Well,
Christmas, I suppose."
nearly so. A different kind of holiday, to be sure. Suppose we should,
Well, there's one good sign. He points south, and you see the smoke from the train pulling into Black Valley.
make good time. Well, that's a good sign. That connects us back to the outside. If we wish to leave, James, with your family, that is our option. James, something is weighing desperately heavy upon me, and to be honest, I wish to have more time to think about this or discuss this with Noah and the others. But it involves your family, James. It involves your wife, specifically. I know, forgive me, it seems improper to even delve into your personal affairs if I didn't think this was a most unconventional nature and something that would affect our very lives. I would never intrude upon your privacy and your family, but
Well, to be honest, nothing is conventional these days, is it?
I'm not convinced, as maybe some of the others are, of where these different breadcrumbs lead to. I am convinced that there are things that I have seen, things that I have seen the passage of, that go beyond the understanding of this world up until a week ago. And I believe your wife, James, Lydia, is more than she seems to be. I don't know if it's it's her nature or if it's an understanding of things that are greater or different in the way that Mr. Beauclair does. James, when you left the room, I went out to speak to her to try to calm her, but also to try to ascertain exactly what her feelings were on this matter, because there's been some indications that she may have seen more than she's let on, that some of the others are steadfastly convinced that it was in fact her handprints we found in the mud. And I cannot be certain of these things. What I am certain is she walked back into that room and she laid down those tarot cards in a swift confidence, in a cool demeanor that, James, it set every hair on the back of my neck standing straight up. I'm not telling you that she is ill. I'm not telling you that she is not your dear partner and a friend and an ally, but there's an understanding here, and some of them are convinced that she is a part or connected to this thing, this guardian, this specter, which has come into this story, which has wreaked havoc upon these men who sat out upon you.
You see that he is slowly nodding and just kind of digesting everything you said. And he's quiet for an awkwardly long amount of time as he kind of thinks about all of this. You notice Noah walking back across the lawn, back towards the house. And he just kind of gives it a minute, thinks about it. And then he says, she's been different for the last 2 years, maybe. Her attitude, it's like you said, a calm demeanor, almost a confidence that she never had before. Back in the church.
I just had this image in my mind of Noah walking across the grass. Just in slow motion.
I have it written in my notes if anyone wants across the grass again.
I was actually thinking of Lost Boys with the POV swooping down on Noah.
The priest leads you all to an altar.
Father Stewart, before you do anything, you're damned well not going to convince me of this. My place is back at the house. Good day, sir. I'm going to head for the door.
I kind of glance at Benton.
Les Kershaw,
That's right.
your father had the same name,
He did.
and his. Although before that, it was Lawrence. For many generations. All the way back to Dover.
Fuck.
You are more involved in this than any of the rest of them, and your place is here with us.
My father died in battle, but the man that raised me is in that house.
Your family is from England. Silas looks at you.
A while back, yeah.
I believe it's important that you hear what Lawrence has to say on the matter.
What?
Right this way.
Yeah, whip out a Ouija
He
board.
opens a door that you see a tightly wound staircase leading further down into another basement.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh,
Never good.
sub-basement's not great.
Makes his way down. Do you follow him or you go back to the house?
No, I'm going to go back to the house.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, shit.
I stand at the top of the stairs as you're walking away, and I say to you, what we discovered down there, Mr. Kershaw, may be the sense of it all. It may dictate whether your actions now are right or wrong. Your choice. I turn and I head down the stairs.
It could dictate Monsieur Marlowe's future. If he has one, the answer is down there. Like he say, it's already too late. You gonna run? Gonna take you a while, no?
No, I ain't gonna run. I'm gonna find a horse. I wish you luck, gentlemen.
What?
All right.
Maybe I'll see you on the other side.
Nice. All right. You are going to find a horse and head back to
I'm gonna
that
steal a
party.
horse. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Horse
Summon Steve. Hey, yeah. My ancestors got hung for stealing horses. So. True story. Dick Turpin.
The three of you head into the sub-basement while Les takes off. You make your way into this small room with a few wooden desks. You see a set of chainmail armor, bloody and rusty, laid out on this wooden table. Next to it, you see a sword. On a separate table, you see a dagger that looks like a magic item from D&D. It has
Excellent.
It has a jagged, curved, like almost lightning bolt shaped blade.
Like a Vorpal blade?
Yeah, but more almost chaotic, like not a smooth pattern, like a more jagged and random edges.
Gross. Okay.
And it's made out of this very dark metal, and the handle is made of some sort of carved bone. You also see several vials of liquid, and each of them seems to be labeled.
It's a typical communion.
It's usually what you find in the church basement.
The bread of Christ is the body.
Actually, Benedict Stewart takes out a small wooden box, and inside are communion wafers.
When he reaches for something, I instinctively like kind of go for my.
Everything he does because he's in his 70s.
Yep.
He does very slowly, but
Okay.
also because he knows that you're very on edge and that you could kill him at any moment. He unrolls this piece of cloth and he lays it down and he puts the communion wafers down on it. And he reaches for two of the bottles and he unstops them and he says, "There are many things in this world that are beyond our understanding. We mortals can only hope to simply look beyond the veil, to peek at a world that is beyond us. The blood carries more than just our lineage. It carries our memory. We do not often use this, but if you wish to truly know," he puts a drop of blood on each communion wafer, from a different bottle.
Yeah, good guy stuff.
You see one of the bottles is labeled Marlowe. The other bottle is labeled David. And a third bottle that he doesn't uncork is labeled Kershaw.
Do I understand what the David is in reference to?
No, but he hands that one to you.
I take the wafer from him. I kind of turn my shoulders towards Benton, and I nod to you, and I put the wafer in my mouth.
Fucking no hesitation.
Benton watches you, and as you put it in your mouth, he's going to pull out his Grigri bag and give it a kiss, say a little prayer under his breath to Papa Legba, and eat it as well. You know, like a good 4 or 5 seconds after. He does make sure it's not poisoned.
Is that your version of detect poison?
Yes, exactly.
All right.
I pretend that I'm like,
All right. Ryan, you find a horse pretty quick and you start heading back to the house and you hear gunshots.
it's probably fine, guys. When he gets back to you, it's probably fine.
I'm cut
to having a party, shooting guns in the air. Woo! It's almost Christmas!
A little while earlier at the house, Ryan threw a monkey wrench in my plan, but that's all right. We'll roll with it. No, it's good. I love it.
We will roll the die.
A little while earlier, you probably told them what happened out there.
Yeah.
Marlowe went back to sleep for a couple hours before dawn. You did too, because your watch had just ended. You are, Burke, you're up on the Widow's Peak when the door opens again. And it's Lydia.
Oh, no.
She floats across.
She says, Mr. Burke, may I join you?
Gets a little
Kingsley
bit colder.
is puckered in every orifice.
She doesn't wait for an answer, but comes up and puts a shawl over her shoulders and sits down. You can see her kind of shivering in the cold.
Ms. Marlowe, I would hope you'd be resting on this late hour and this strange night.
I find it hard to sleep with all that's happened. I wanted to speak to you about what happened earlier tonight. You're suspicious of me, but you know that I have my family's best intentions, right?
Ma'am, I am, well, as I'm sure you've gathered from appraisal of my companions, James did not ask me here for my physical prowess or ability to protect him or your family in any martial manner. All I can rely upon is my mind, my power of deduction and reason. So please forgive me, but I have seen and encountered things that have gone beyond my normal understanding. And therefore, I've found that the best way to be useful in getting us all through this situation is to apply a bit of, whether it's curiosity or suspicion, to everything I would normally take at face value. And forgive me if I did anything to insult you.
She says, I understand. She puts a hand on your hand.
Kingsley
Taps your hand.
is very afraid.
Her hand is cold. Mm-hmm. And she says, I too have gone through this same sort of revelation over the past 2 years of learning of things in our world that aren't as we always thought they were. Yes, there are things out there.
Yes, there does seem to be.
Meanwhile. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Matt, I've already sent you stuff since you're remote. Did you get it?
Yes.
Okay.
Break the seal.
Dan, this is for you. This is your temporary character sheet.
Oh, no.
You are, because I decided, I was like, how am I going to run this? They don't want to just listen to me talk to myself for an hour. So you are going to be playing David. You are an English knight.
Love it.
The year is 1216.
It's like my real fantasy.
The year is 1216. The place is Dover. And you've probably been there, I assume.
Correct.
You've been to the castle at Dover? It looks pretty fucking awesome.
It's pretty dope.
Here's your character sheet.
Love it.
Matt, you already have yours.
Yeah.
You are John Dawson. I'm sorry, you are John Marlowe. So just to give you guys kind of an idea of how this is going to work, you are playing these characters for a couple scenes. Mm-hmm. There are instructions on the back of your character sheet, or in Matt's case, in his email, about kind of goals that you need to accomplish in each scene. But other than that, it's kind of up to you how you want to role play it. I will be NPCing this guy.
Damn.
Your characters are experiencing this. You're not in control. You, the player, is in control of this character, but your character is just a passenger.
Sure.
They're experiencing this.
Yep.
So they will be privy to all this information, but it's not like they were controlling what
like
happened.
a POV of
Exactly.
their perspective. Yeah.
Well, Never done an English accent before, so let's give this one a shot.
Yes. Me neither. And I'm English. So
The date is July 19th, 1216. You, David, are sitting on the roof of one of the main buildings at the castle at Dover. You look to the west and you see the town of Dover. To the north and east, you see farmland. And to the south, you see the English Channel, which is filled with a fleet of French ships. The castle is under siege. The sun is setting, and Prince Louis is amassing his forces on the shore, on the beach, and preparing to siege your castle. You're up here watching the sunset, having a drink of wine, not sure what's going to happen. You know that the person who is currently in charge is not your first choice, but due to several unfortunate deaths in early skirmishes when Louis' men landed on the beach, he's the leader you have.
is that John?
That is John Marlowe. As you sit up here watching the sun set, you look north, and in the field, you see a single figure walking towards the walls of the castle. As they get closer, you realize that it is a woman. Kind of strange. There shouldn't be anyone out there. She walks directly towards the castle wall until she's out of view because she's underneath it. And then you see her on the inside of the castle wall.
Do we hear like the gates race?
No, she's not even near a gate.
Terrible.
This immediately puts you on alert, and
I draw my sword.
you're on the roof of the building. You're nowhere near her, but you draw your sword, and then you shout that someone is in the walls.
Yep. And I start like heading kind of down the palisades.
You head down the palisades and meet up with some other soldiers. Back on the Widow's Peak. What was your brother's name, Mr. Burke?
Charlie. Charles.
Did you ever wonder why it was that Charlie was so much better than you? Not to offend, but I mean, why he was so much capable. Why men like him or men like my husband just seem to be born lucky.
Kingsley's his hands are on the railing and grip tight, knuckles go white. He kind of steadies himself for a moment and he says, there are great men that are born to this world. We cannot all be so lucky as to have their gifts.
It doesn't seem fair, though, does it? You're smarter than him. Smarter than my husband, even. Why don't you get to be a great man, Mr. Kingsley?
I've told myself that we can try to find greatness in our own way, in our own path. Surely this is a hard world to be a woman in. And it is true that many women have found greatness by supporting great men that they have found themselves with.
You're right. When I learned about the curse that was on my son, I felt powerless. But I learned that greatness must be taken. I can help you. Do you want to be a great man, Mr. Burke?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Where's that willpower roll?
I can offer you that strength that was robbed from you. She looks at your legs. The strength to help us here tonight.
Your husband told me that he knows me well, and he knows who I am and what I am, and that he asked all of us out here for reasons, and I trust him and his judgment, and I know that if he felt that it was important for me to be here and in his time of need, it was because he knew that I could help him, and I'm doing my best to
Will you
to do
follow
so.
or lead, Mr. Burke? Meanwhile, at the castle.
The castle.
To arms! To arms!
Matt, we're on scene 1 now, guys.
Oh, scene one.
We're in the hall of Dover Castle, where John Marlowe, David, and about a dozen other knights and some men of the cloth are gathered as this woman who somehow climbed the wall, as the rumors say, has just made her way brazenly into the room to demand to see John.
What do you want?
Steady, gods. Steady, watcher.
She says, I come with an offer.
From Louis?
No.
Who?
Louis will take this castle and kill all of you soon. Yes. I come with an offer from my lord. An offer to give you the strength you need. The strength to not only win this battle, but to prosper. To see England whole again.
John is looking around at everybody, kind of shifting his weight from kind of foot to foot.
She draws a blade. And everyone starts screaming and drawing weapons. She's like 50 feet away from you. She draws this jagged, curved black dagger, and she throws it on the ground. And she says, I am only a herald, but I come with this offer. I offer you, Mr. Marlowe, strength, power, prosperity for generations.
Marlowe, you cannot listen to this woman. Clearly, this is the work of the devil. You must banish her.
You say we can win, yes?
In return, my lord asks for you on your 50th birthday. He shall have you both in body and soul.
Well, me? What?
If you accept the terms, draw your own blood and speak the words on the blade.
Why me?
She turns and starts to walk out of the room, and as she enters the shadow of the doors, she vanishes.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of your knights, Sir Lawrence, says, she's an agent of the devil, clearly.
Absolutely. Sir, she's after your soul.
But she's right. The castle will fall within a week. We have provisions, but Louis will not wait. He will lay siege.
We will fall as holy men.
But if Dover falls, then Louis can bring supplies. England surely falls after, no?
A couple people around the room nod, and this holy man says, already Louis moves inward and claims more land, but if he has the port here, he will take more and more and be reinforced. His name is Brother Weston.
Sir David goes and he picks up the dagger and he kind of carries it forward to John.
Kind of,
and he says,
steps back.
Lawrence
Involuntarily.
says, this is perhaps an opportunity to be a martyr like Jesus. Yes, you may lose your own soul, John, but it is for the good of all of England, of all here.
God already possesses our souls. He would not take it in a bargain.
Huh. But what of your children, though? The families?
Brother Weston says there are many families here within the walls, many that were not able to escape.
How?
You see David kind of, he's clearly like trying to calculate behind his eyes, like thinking this through and thinking about his family here in the castle as well. And he's kind of shaking his head and he says, she said her lord sent her. Who is this lord? What is the bargain he wants?
Brother Weston says, the devil. It is the only way.
That we make a deal with the devil? My lord. What? The cost? The cost will be too great.
Perhaps the cost of one man's life, Lawrence says, in exchange for the lives of others. It is your decision alone to make.
You would do this?
You would be a martyr.
I don't want to die. Before...
50 years. That is all you get.
Lawrence says, if you don't take the deal, you may have less than 5 days.
That's how long till the walls fail.
Lawrence looks over at you, David, with this sort of look of like, this fucking guy. He says, that is optimistic.
You see, probably from, what's his name?
Lawrence.
From Lawrence's perspective, he probably sees John's thought process shift a little when he talks about Marlowe being the martyr.
Mm-hmm.
And John says to you, Marlowe, he says...
You mean David?
Yeah, you're David.
David says to Marlowe, he says... He's nodding and he says, Louis will have this castle in 4 days' time. Then, Southern England and London.
All eyes in the room are on Marlowe, this young knight who probably until now had never been in a real battle, did not expect to have power today.
It couldn't have been anyone else. Yes. For England.
Meanwhile, in the on the roof of the house,
It's the fucking Frenchie's fault.
the whole thing.
It's always the French.
Blame the French.
I hereby declare that we shall call them freedom fries. Wow. Freedom toast. Kingsley is gripping the railing tightly and putting his whole weight kind of forward. And he's not looking at Lydia. He's just staring out into the night and almost as much to himself as to her. He says, I mean, what is it that makes a man great? Is it what they're born with?
It is the will to do what must be done.
I have come here of my own volition to help. To help James, to help his family, you, Mrs. Marlowe, and now my newfound friends and companions. And I have found it difficult to do so in a way that I feel is adequate. I'm not blessed with the marksmanship and prowess of Noah Fashnacht, the guile of Silas Keene, the rugged spirit of Les Kershaw, or the courage of James and Charlie. So what is it that I can even do?
I can give you all of those things.
I'm looking at the character sheet, looking at the vice, looking at
What's the vice?
the vice is craven, the dementia is self-resentment.
Yep.
And
What's the goal?
to be necessary to appear successful. Kingsley is not a bad man. Kingsley is not a villain. Kingsley, like most people, thinks that he is a good person. But he's in a situation where he feels at best helpless, at worst a burden. And this whole fucking supernatural mumbo jumbo has been a very hard pill to swallow. But how much harder would it be to just...
I think all the things you just listed, you described essentially her as being your dom. So you're in for a rough ride, buddy.
Kingsley is quiet for a long beat. And then he kind of half turns towards her and then looks back out and up into the sky. And he says, I came here to help. Let me help.
She takes out a dagger and she cuts her hand and says, then drink.
Burke the vampire.
Burke the ghoul first.
Yes.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Cooling it up.
I don't know what you're talking about, this supernatural mumbo jumbo.
Let me
cut
suck
to
your
the
blood.
cut to the castle at Dover several days later. You have already done the ritual. You've done what needed to be done, John. And as you can see on part 2 there, you are feeling a little different. And
Juicing.
Louis' forces are attacking the castle. There are siege weapons approaching the main gate, battering rams, and he outnumbers you 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
You know you don't need to defeat him. You just need to hold off long enough.
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry, what is not John Marlowe? What is the Les's dad
Lawrence.
or great?
Lawrence. Lawrence says, "Sir, we have to do something." They approach the gate. They'll be in within an hour. We need to mount some sort of defense.
Do we think her words were lies? That the ritual was for nothing?
John's just kind of standing on the ramparts, looking down at it all. There. Weak flank. I believe if we can make a tally out of this castle, we could strike there, weaken them, turn their forces.
I looked to Lawrence.
Lawrence says, "We sally forth. We ride out and meet them on the flank."
They wouldn't expect it, right?
They certainly won't. It seems like suicide.
If it collapses, we could drive them to the cliffs, though.
Fucking dope like that in 2 Towers. Ride out with me.
Gather
If
the
we
men.
are to-
They'll follow. We'll break them here. And he'll just step off the ramparts and start walking.
You make your way to the stable to your horse.
As he walks down, I kind of fall in with Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, the man is different.
He nods.
If this proves to be some change, some true bargain that has been made, it will be up to us to make sure that it does not escape this place, that he does not use this power for corrupt purposes.
He nods and he says, the devil may not collect payment. We must end his life.
We do it.
He nods.
I offer my hand to him.
He takes it.
Ryan, you were supposed to be playing this character. I'm getting the sense of what was supposed to happen.
That was supposed to be Ryan's idea. No, it's good. I don't mind.
Cool.
You don't know how much time has passed, Josh. The last few moments or hours or something are this weird kind of euphoric blur. I want you to add 3 attribute points to your physical calling. Anywhere you want.
I see a red door and I...
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All of a sudden, you kind of wipe this blood off of your mouth, and you take a breath, and you feel the cold air. You can almost taste the air. Your senses seem heightened. You can hear every noise out in the forest, and you can see so much better than you could before. And you see figures on the tree line. You see men lurking on the tree line, like as if it were dimly lit. They're hiding, but they can't hide from you. You can hear them whispering, preparing to attack.
Can he smell them?
She says, they're going to attack. I'll tell my husband. I'll make sure the children are safe.
Yes. Your husband and Noah.
She makes her way down the ladder. Noah, you and James are downstairs when Lydia comes in and says, Kingsley spotted them. They're on the tree line. Maybe 15, 16 of them.
What? They're here?
It seems that they're about to attack.
Let's go, James.
James says, dear, go to the kitchens with the children. There's only one way in or out, that door. We're going to barricade it, and I'll fight from that barricade. You and Kingsley should get up to the Widow's Peak. Get as many of them as you can on the approach, and then fight from the second floor. Use the elevation.
Yeah. Good luck.
We'll create a crossfire here. He points to the door where he's going to be, and then up to like the second floor, like balcony. And he says, they come through that door, we'll have them in a crossfire. He's like, help me move this furniture so they don't have any cover.
Yeah.
He starts moving things out of the way.
Dragon.
His wife runs off and gets the children and brings them into the kitchen. And you set up and prepare for this attack. Does Kingsley have a gun up there?
He does. I think.
Okay.
I think. He's been carrying a pistol, but I think we have a rifle up there.
Yeah, we probably have a couple rifles just sitting, like leaned up against the parapet.
Maybe two loaded.
You make your way up there to Kingsley, and
You saw them.
Yes, right there. There's.
I look out where he's pointing.
you actually see him. You see him because they start to move. You grab your rifle.
Yeah.
Count 15 or 16. You see, Kingsley's already has a rifle on his shoulder, and the other is like on the railing where he can grab it next. There's a bag of shells or powder or whatever, like at his feet. Like he's
ready.
John?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I lean up next to him and load I already have it loaded.
Yeah.
Breathe out. They're moving across the open.
You feel your heart pounding, as you see like over a dozen men like rushing the house, and you think the three of us, and one of them is Kingsley. And
Do we take those in front first?
Yeah, I'll see if we can slow them down or give them something to think about. I breathe out slowly and slowly squeeze the trigger on the first.
Kingsley, you hear his heart beating, and you hear his slow breath, and you hear his heart slow a bit before this deafening rifle round. And let's go over to the castle. Matt, Marlowe, with your 24 men on horseback at your side, head out a postern gate and directly into the flank of these attacking soldiers. What are you doing, Matt? We're in combat now.
Oh, I'm pulling up my.
Can you read that character sheet? It might have been a crappy photo.
Yeah.
Matt, you have an ability that I did not write on there. You have an inspiration ability. Once per turn, you can give one of your allies a willpower point that they have to spend that turn.
Sweet.
Nice. All right. We are riding out, and John
So let me tell you a little bit about fighting in the year 1216. You're all wearing these chainmail hauberk, and over that is a sort of banded mail vest. Plate mail isn't really a thing yet. You're wearing these heavy great helms, like, the flat-topped ones. And then over all of that is like a surcoat with your family crest on it. You're probably all wielding long swords and shields, and you're on horses that are similarly armored. So all of your gear altogether, about 70 pounds.
Lovely.
Yeah, not bad. Which I believe is like a pretty traditional throughout history, right, Josh?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
What was your rucksack?
I mean, like a full combat load was like 50 to 70 pounds.
Yeah.
Like more when you're on the march.
That's wild.
And you ride your horses right in, Matt? Or
oh yeah.
Okay. Why don't you start? Tell me what you're doing.
I'm gonna use my inspiration on Lawrence first. As we ride up, he's gonna give out a cry. Send the frogs back across the water, and fucking smash into him. swinging his longsword down at whomever he can meet.
All right, Dan.
Yeah, I think Lawrence will.
You're still David.
You're David.
Still David. God damn it.
Circle, underline.
Me, David.
Me, David.
Yeah.
Is that your middle name? No.
No. Richard.
It's mine.
Yours. Okay.
Damn David, that'd be weird.
Oh, wow. I named these characters John and David.
What kind of troops are we attacking? Are they
They're
spearmen?
infantry. They're infantry
Okay.
with shield and sword.
Okay. Yeah, I weighed in on my horse
Okay.
with cavalry. Cavalry versus infantry.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait.
Other side of the fight. John,
Yeah.
you're taking a shot.
Yeah. Probably any of the lead men.
Okay. And
Anyone who has a lead man who looks like he has a long arm.
okay. And Kingsley doing the same?
Same.
All right. Ryan, you heard that rifle shot from the widow's peak of the house. You're coming down the road and you see these men rushing across the lawn to the west. You're kind of coming up from the south. You could get in the house before they do, or you could meet them on the lawn. Which is a little suicidal, but basically you can get to the house before they do, or you can stay outside and fight.
I'll get to the house. I'm gonna fire. I'm gonna try to fire some shots as I'm heading into the house. But
You you get to the door of the house, and it actually swings open as Marlowe, who was there ready to shoot anyone who came in. He just kind of pats you on the back and smiles, and then closes the door behind you, and starts moving some furniture. And he says, "There, the barricade. The children are in the kitchen."
All right.
And you move over to the barricade with him.
Yep.
All right. Matt, go ahead and give me melee and strength. Josh and John, give me dexterity and firearms. And Dan is going to do ride and dexterity.
Yeah, that guy's dead.
3 successes for John Marlowe.
3 successes for Mr. Marlowe.
7 for Noah.
Oh my gatos.
I rolled a crit. and
That
I
guy
had, like,
used to
8
have a
dice.
head.
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
I spent a point of willpower.
Oh,
Feel like I gotta capitalize on this first one.
Yeah.
5 successes though. With that.
wow.
Just a single success for David.
That was ride and dexterity?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so John Marlowe leads the charge into these infantrymen. You cut one of them down immediately, and your men rush in around you, feeling inspired. They're amazed to see this sort of change in you. Lawrence comes up on your side and cuts someone down, and then you see David, young David, try to ride through and sort of knock them down, but a couple of them manage to pull him off his horse. One of them is about to strike him when Lawrence kind of spins his horse around and cuts the guy's hand right off, like at the sword. You see this hand and sword land on the ground next to you. Your horse is gone. You manage to pick that sword up off of the ground. And
I start wading into the infantry,
nice,
chopping away.
Nice. On the roof of the house, you both fire your rifles and drop the first 2 men that were approaching the house. The rest of them just are running all out. They're not even trying to fire up at you. They're trying to get close enough to the house where you won't have a shot. You get one more round to shoot at them, but you both took different guys down.
Okay.
So take another shot, both of you. Dan, you're gonna probably be doing melee at this point, melee and strength. And what are you doing, Matt?
Marlowe is going to see David go down, and he's going to like push his horse back towards him with Lawrence and kind of take up a side on him to protect him from some soldiers, and he's just going to kind of swing down on the people around him to help kind of clear a path.
Okay.
I can use that inspiration. You said it was every round, right?
Every round,
Yeah,
yep.
so I'll use it on David this time. I'll kind of...
Okay.
As I move in close, I'll look down at him and just smile as I lock down into one of these guys.
All right. What did you guys get for rolls?
I think David, seeing that Marlowe like clear a path for him and kind of take a flank for him, kind of yells a rallying cry, and he got 4 successes.
4 successes?
Yeah, and it's +1 lethal. So do I?
Yeah,
add?
so you do. You don't roll another
okay.
one. You just add.
Okay.
So it's whatever you beat them by. So the guy that was squaring off with you got 2 successes. So you beat him by 2. So you do 2 + 1. So you do 3 lethal. 3
Yep.
lethal.
Love it.
So you stab this guy. He's not dead, but he goes down. Matt,
4 successes.
4 successes. Okay, you do the same thing. Your guy actually got no successes, so you kill another one of these guys as you ride up and get right up next to David. So the way I'm going to do this fight, guys, there is actually going to be some repercussion. Any damage your character takes, you will take in willpower damage on your actual character. Up on the roof,
I got 5.
Cool.
5.
Kingsley grabs the second rifle, takes a quick shot, 1 success.
Oh, okay. Grazing hit. These guys aren't defending themselves. They're just running all out. You hit one of them, and he kind of stumbles and falls and gets back up and starts limping towards the house. You shoot one.
Reach over as they're getting closer.
You get another one.
Go. I will cover you.
I'll go to the second floor.
Yeah, I will meet you there.
John,
Yeah.
can you roll for me wits and awareness? Kingsley, you're going down on the second floor?
Yeah, Kingsley grabs a rifle. He has a revolver still, but he grabs a rifle and he's trying to reload it kind of on the move as he moves more steadily than usual down the stairs.
Okay.
Just one.
Kingsley's in the zone. I mean, he's doing. You're proud of him right
Yeah.
now, but not suspicious.
Yeah. He's probably leaning on one of those rifles as he walks down the stairs.
And he makes his way down to the second floor. And John, I'll let you take another shot and finish off the guy that he had clipped.
Okay, yeah.
Because he's kind of
Like
limping.
limping, yeah.
Brutal.
Take off them stragglers.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
4, 5. 5, yeah. He's dead.
Oh, brutal. All right. And then you make your way down after that?
Yep.
All right.
Grab
so the
like a
two of
bandolier
you
off the
make your way
ground.
down to the second floor landing, and up against like a bureau or like an armoire or something like for cover,
Yeah.
looking over the banister down to the first floor door. And for a second, it's quiet. You know, they got to the edge of the house. You know, they're right outside the door, and then, bam! It gets kicked in, and they rush in. There was 15. You guys took out 4. So there was 11 men making their way into this
That's
house.
crowded room.
Jake, I turn and I turn on the Batwoman.
Turn signal.
No, Kingsley drops, kind of leans the rifle down, takes the revolver, braces it over his other forearm against the railing, and starts shooting.
So the first 4 that come in are going to be opposed rolls with all of you, and then the rest of them are just going to be moving in kind of behind those.
Yep.
So you guys can make your rolls now. And what are we doing back with John and David?
I think David is going to try to protect John's horse.
Cool. Okay.
So that he doesn't come down as well.
Uh-huh.
And he's going to move through and try to just. I mean, whenever you watch those fight scenes, it's just
it's so
total
chaotic.
chaos.
Yep.
I don't know.
I always
how
wonder how they know who the enemy is, right?
It's wild to me.
You know what, Dan? Cool. I like that. So, how about you roll composure and melee for me?
Okay, cool.
And Matt, are you still giving him that?
Yes.
Okay. And what are you doing, Matt?
I am probably still trying to push further, move
Okay.
us further in to kind of cut off that lead column to get, to force them to have to try to pinch to close on us.
Okay.
So that they allow another force to come out of the castle to try to repel them and push them back.
Nice.
Storyteller. If Kingsley possibly had regained a willpower with that dimension of self-resentment, keying that terrible decision, he would spend it right now.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Also, Josh, I forgot to mention, we'll start doing this after this roll. I'd like you to start rolling one die that's a different color, please.
That sounds fun.
Maybe a red color. Maybe a red might be a good color.
I mean, do you associate red with frenzy?
All right, that's 3 successes for Kingsley.
Okay, one sec. Matt, what were you going to roll for this action? Do you think this is sort of a leadership thing?
Yeah, I would say so.
More than an attack? So why don't you give me resolve and leadership?
Oh, okay. It's there.
And you are remembering the 2 extra dice that get
Yeah.
added to your character sheet, right?
It's only 2 successes. Do I have willpower?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, then I'm going to spend 1. That's 3 more, so 5 total.
Ooh, okay. And Dan?
I got a 3 total.
3 total. Okay. John.
6.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And
on fire.
Kingsley got what?
3.
6, 3,
3 for less.
3 for less. All right. All right. I'm gonna roll for the guys that are shooting at you guys. They're gonna lose 1 success because of your cover. 2 for the guys up on the balcony. 1 for the guys on the ground. So if they beat you, they damage you. Les, what did you get total?
3.
3. Okay. Wow, he rolled really high against John, but he still won.
Just imagining the scene from Django Unchained in
Holy
the
shit.
mansion where he's on top of the stairs.
It's wild.
So that's a wash. And Ryan again is the luckiest person in the game.
Every game needs one.
John,
Yeah.
this guy shoots the cover right next to you, but your resolve is pretty steady, and you hit him and knock him down. Kingsley, you take a shot, you miss, and then it wasn't the guy you were shooting at, it was the guy next to him, but almost out of your peripheral vision, you feel like everything almost slows down. You look at this guy, and you actually make eye contact with him. You see him pulling the trigger. You see the hammer fall. You see the round coming towards you, and you just move a little bit to the side, and it misses you. Les, you and Marlowe
Burke.
both take shots and both hit. You both won your rolls.
Nice.
Dan,
Yes.
as David is weighing through this crowd, trying to keep up with the horsemen, you feel a sting in your side, and you look down and you see blood in your chainmail. You take 2. You're not even sure where it came from, but you just turn and kind of swing wildly at the infantry on that side, and then a horse kind of pushes you along and keeps you moving. And Matt, you order the men to push to the center, to cut them off so that your reinforcements can come through the gate. And it's like all eyes are on you. A arrow actually hits your shield, and you're just yelling at your men, telling them where to go and how to move into position, telling them to use their horses to like kind of create a wall. They're all following your orders precisely. It comes together perfectly, and they cut the enemy off. You're still fighting, but you've created like a wall essentially on the road that leads to the gate.
Perfect.
Jake,
And now all you have to do is hold them while your infantry come out.
I think David is also going to look for like a horse that's had someone unmanned.
Uh-huh.
And he's going to like reach for the saddle and try to jump up and join.
Okay, what do you want to roll for that?
Dex and ride.
Sure. And Matt, you need to hold your line basically.
Yeah, so yeah, I'd be going with leadership and...
Okay.
If you get 2 10s, you get
How about leadership and charisma now?
Okay.
5 successes, Jake.
Wow. Okay. Meanwhile, in the house, these men come. They rush in. They make their way to hallways and doorways. Most of them don't shoot. They just try to get to cover as quickly as they can. You take a few of them down, but it quickly gets to the point where gunshots are just coming from every doorway, every opening. You know where your allies are, so you know where not to shoot. But the room is quickly filling with guns, musket smoke, and you can't hear anything that anyone is saying.
Kingsley loses aim for a moment, and then he kind of takes a deep breath, and he shouts down into the first floor. He says, "I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I will trust. You men do not need to die here today. You do not need to leave widows and orphans. Flee now. For 1,000 will fall at my right hand, 10,000 at my right side. It shall not come near us. Get out while you can."
Okay. Nice. You're really trying to use oration in combat.
Listen, I made an unholy pact and drank vampire blood, and I still have half the fucking dice pool of this guy right here. So
Go ahead and give me oration and manipulation,
okay,
and we will impose a penalty on them based on how successful you are.
I love it. What's your disciplines?
not charisma and oration.
Sure.
It's power.
Yeah.
Sure. She's La Sombra. She's got some dominate in there.
Yeah,
John?
dominate your presence.
So where Marlowe and Les are they in front of the kitchen entrance?
They are.
Okay.
You can't see them from where
Like
you are.
below us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I got 4 successes, 1 success on my Satan die.
I'm going to, while he's talking, I'm going to try to use that, like them probably stopping to listen a little bit to make a go down the hallway of this balcony and try to get a better position on a couple of them, like on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Just to catch them unawares.
Okay.
Take a shot at them.
All right.
You hear some muttered voices. He makes some good points.
It's good. Good idea.
Go ahead and take your shot. Roll 2 extra dice. So,
okay.
so what I'm going to do is your 4 successes. I'm going to give John and Ryan 2 extra dice each.
You know, it seems like there's good people on both sides here. I think he's right. Yeah.
Ryan, what are you doing?
I am trying to provide cover for Marlowe as much as possible. So
Okay.
It's like
You're behind like some
Like a
furniture,
barricade, yeah.
like a furniture
Yep.
barricade that is in front of the door to the kitchen.
So I'm primarily trying to prevent people from coming around and
Okay.
to flanking
Yep.
positions. I think
you actually
yeah.
see a couple guys that are like using the railing as cover,
Yep.
and they're like 10 feet away from you.
All right.
Yeah.
7.
Wow.
Dear Lord.
5.
Ooh. You
What
got those
the-
extra dice, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Need to learn how you guys roll.
And- well, you rolled crazy
It
too,
helps
right?
when you roll 20
And
dice.
Matt,
Right,
Matt, what was your leadership roll?
That was a 7.
7. And John, Dan, you got 5, right?
Yeah, to get on the horse.
Let me just get some rolls for
Crushed it.
for baddies here.
Someone rolls over a 5 to get me to not mount a horse, I'll be very upset.
As Noah gets to the side, the left side of this balcony up top, he sees one of them kind of peek his head around, and he breathes out, "Blessed be the Lord, my strength, which teacheth me my hands to war and my fingers to fight."
You see him just fall behind the railing that he was hiding behind, and you quickly reload your weapon, and then you hear several shots as his companions start shooting up at you.
Yep.
And you feel something hot hit your arm. You've probably never been shot before.
No, definitely not.
But you take 2 lethal
Oh,
Ow, ow.
as a musket round hits you in the arm.
I'm sure Lydia could help you.
Les, you take a shot and you hit this guy and you see him fall back, and you actually hear him cry out to his companions that he was hit, and then his companion kind of leans over that banister and takes a shot at you with a pistol, and he misses, but the third man shoots and hits Marlowe. Marlowe falls back. He isn't dead. You can tell immediately he's not dead. Kingsley, from where you are on the second floor, you see Marlowe go down. And behind Marlowe, you see in the doorway to the kitchen, you see his wife. She's kind of in the shadows of the kitchen door. And you see this shadow around her grow thick. And she reaches into it. John,
yeah.
the 2 men that just shot you, you see this black shadow start to grow across the wall behind them. There's this like clock, and its shadow kind of starts to bend and grow and get thicker. And
I think someone's like moving a lantern across.
Yeah, it moves across the floor, and then you see 2 hands come out of it. And you see her put her hands on the floor and then pull the top of her body out of the shadow. And she points a hand at one of the men, and the shadow of her arm detaches itself from her and grabs this man and pulls him up into the air.
Ruh-roh.
Scheiße. Scheiße.
You're suddenly reminded of the handprints in the
Yeah.
mud. And
Let me roll a little willpower on that.
Facts check
no,
out.
we're going to do that after the fight.
okay.
Facts check out.
Meanwhile, at the castle, John Marlowe has formed this defensive line. You've got your men keeping them at bay. It's hard to get them to not charge in, but you manage to get them to hold their ground and give the rest of your reinforcements your infantry time to get the gate open. You hear the gate creaking open, and you see a horse come out of the mass of French soldiers. You see a horseman ride towards your line, and your men are about to cut him down when you realize that it's David. You thought he was dead. You saw him go down and lost sight of him, but you yell at your men not to attack, and they make a line and let him into the line, and you take your place among them, and you're all on your horses, kind of like shields up, holding them off, like holding them like shield to shield at bay, while your infantry form up behind you.
Awesome.
Dope.
I don't know if you guys have watched Last Kingdom when they do that shit.
Yes.
It's fucking crazy.
That's what. Well, it's funny because when you talked about it earlier about like attacking their flank and pushing them into the sea, I thought about that last
or
in Last Kingdom
or
where
300 when they
or in
push them
300.
off the cliff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan, why don't you give me stamina and melee for holding? Because you're doing, unless you're doing something wacky.
No, I think he that was his whole objective is to kind of join the ranks of the knights again
Yep.
and be
Yep.
able to be part
And
of the cavalry.
Matt, are you joining the line as well? Are you commanding from the back, or are you doing something weird?
I'd probably be commanding I'd be commanding from the not really the back. I mean, he's feeling
Well, I mean, you can move up and fight, or you
Powerful.
can just, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to give his inspiration to David again now that he's come back. He's come back to the fold. I think I'm gonna direct sort of from just behind the line, sort of like holding off the soldiers behind us, but like making my way up and down the line of our guys, like pointing to where it looks like the French are going to be pushing. You know what I mean? To brace here. Like that kind of thing. So I'd say
Roll leadership and
intelligence.
roll leadership and actually, I want you to roll resolve.
Okay.
Is Lauren still up, Jake?
He is
Okay.
Well, you don't know at the
Sure.
moment.
Yeah.
4 successes.
4 successes. Okay. 1 sec. I have. Oh my god, I have a lot of nasty gram. Wait a second. Hold on.
The chicken is a familiar. It says the chicken is a
What
familiar.
fucking game is that from?
The
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
The Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah, what is my chicken familiar doing right now?
I know, right?
You should get his ass out of the barn.
Okay,
and
I'm
help
gonna
us
have
out.
to read that during break time. That's a fucking novel of a nasty gram. Now I've totally lost track. Okay,
4 successes for leadership roll.
4 successes for leadership, and what about your melee stamina roll?
4 successes as well.
Okay. You fend off this French soldier that tries to push towards you. You both just kind of keep each other at bay. Matt, the reason I wanted you to roll resolve is because you get hit with an arrow, and you don't even flinch. You just carry on with what you're doing, giving out orders. You notice some of your men notice that you got hit with an arrow and that you don't seem to care, and they're clearly very inspired by it. You only take 1 level of damage because of your armor. But your men are definitely inspired by you just kind of carrying on through this wound.
I think David in his inspiration says, "Hail Satan!
Hail Satan! Hail Satan! Meanwhile, at the house, John, what is Noah doing?
Noah backed up, like, when he saw that, he kind of scrambled back a little bit after getting shot, and that he breathes out a little and kind of takes a view of what is happening on the first floor
This guy's body lands next to you.
next to me.
Yeah, he's dead.
Where are you wounded, John?
Probably took it like I'm shooting down, so probably came across the arm.
Okay.
Yeah, like up, like not your shoulder, but like your bicep.
Yeah, went
Yeah.
went through.
Yeah.
and he's like holding his arm with the rifle. And the thing lands next to him. Shiza, and like scrambles away from it.
You hear footsteps. You hear coming up the stairs to your left. Like there's this wraparound staircase on either end, and the end you're on, you hear people coming up. You've kind of ducked down so you don't see them, but
I grab the rifle, or I still had it in my left hand, and I pull it back up against the wall, pointing down the stairs.
Okay.
And if it's a bad guy, I shoot.
You see 3 of them coming up the stairs. Take a shot.
Yeah.
All right. Josh, what do you do?
I look to my side where I see Noah fall back, and then I see him orient towards the stairs, and Kingsley takes a breath, and he stands, pistol straight out, and starts walking towards the staircase. And
Nice.
he shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him.
As he wall walks.
I'm sure he doesn't look at how delicious
So you guys can
Noah's arm looks.
Let's stop for a snack.
And is your tongue burning?
Josh,
while you're
you do
saying
Dex and
this?
firearms. John, you do resolve and
That's what I was
firearms for me.
figuring,
And Ryan, what are you doing?
I look to Lydia. What is she?
You look just in time to see her step into the shadows and disappear completely.
All right. Do we have? If we have a path out, I want to try to get Marlowe to someplace where we have cover. If not, I'm going to.
The kitchen was chosen because there's no back door.
Yeah.
Fire code violation.
Yeah.
So the children are back there, and there's no way in or out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marlowe is leaned up against the wall, holding a gunshot wound to the shoulder, but he looks at you and he kind of just nods.
So I'm gonna I'm gonna try to get him to go to the kitchen.
Okay. All right. He does. He kind of like stumbles up and
I'm gonna
goes towards the kitchen.
I'm gonna just cover fire for him as he does that, and I'm gonna for behold, this life is the time for men to prepare to meet God. Yea, behold, the day of this life is the day for men to perform their labors. As I shoot, that was done.
Love it.
All right, go ahead and give me dexterity and firearms. And
They gotta be thinking, are we
we
the
the
baddies? They gotta be thinking
They
like,
certainly know a lot of Bible quotes.
what? We don't have Google.
That was a band of brothers, or
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
What John busted
What
out?
John
Yeah.
busted
Private
out. The
Jackson
sniper.
up in the
Yeah,
tower.
of the tower.
John, your total?
4.
Dear Lord.
I rolled.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
He rolled.
You're getting shot.
There's a couple of 10s.
Ooh.
Couple of-
Couple of.
How many health levels you got?
I got 3 left.
Oh, okay.
You might want to call on Lydia Nightingale to save you.
Oh, Lord.
Kingsley?
3 with a 10 on the Satan die.
When can I pull
Sorry.
a willpower?
Right now, if you want.
Well, will I know the Do I not know the results before I choose to spend a willpower?
He's currently beating you.
I only have 2 willpower.
Oh, God.
I got a glimpse of the roll. I'd say
That's
go
not
ahead.
like character points, is there, Randar? I never run out of character points. John, not the min-max, but you might be losing him either way.
I'm gonna. I'll spend a willpower.
Yeah.
3 dice, right?
Yep.
1 more, so 5.
Should have had Ryan rolling for you.
That's pretty big. Kingsley, I'm sorry. What was your total?
3 with a 10 on the Satan die.
Right. That was the second time that's happened, right?
Well, the last one was just a success. This was a Hail Satan!
Oh, it's not.
I think the
it's not a hunger
one.
die.
I think the 1 is what you're looking out for.
Oh
Right?
yeah, it's a 0. 0. It's a failure. It's a 1, and you also fail the roll.
Oh,
You
okay.
got
That's how it works
Yeah.
in this version
Yeah.
of.
Pretty sure.
Yep. And Ryan, what did you get?
3 successes.
I would imagine that's a lot harder to do.
Yeah, but you get more hunger die as your hunger goes
I
up.
see. I see.
Kingsley, you get shot. You take 1 level.
Okay.
Your pistol round goes wide. You don't feel it. You feel okay, but mark off 1 health level.
How does your what's your health? Because my stamina went up.
So it'll go up by 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, by whatever you raise your stamina by.
Okay.
Josh, you take non-lethal
Nice.
Now we're playing with levels.
John, you take 2.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Too lethal?
Yeah. Les, you won your roll.
No, I
you're
got
lucky.
shot in like the stomach.
You got shot. Yeah, again.
Yeah.
You go down. You're not unconscious, but you go down.
Yeah.
Ryan, you finish off that guy at the railing who shot Marlowe. And then you kind of back up a little bit into the hallway just because they're getting really close. And you figure you can shoot them when they pop their heads up on the other side of the barricade. You get shot as well. And you're kind of standing right in the open. So
I say, I go down and I look over and see him standing over me with his pistol out, and I go,
I must be hallucinating.
Buck, get down. There are 2 more.
You see these 2 guys come up the stairs, and then Lydia steps out of a shadow from the wall behind them and grabs one of them and rips his throat open with her mouth.
I'm just low on blood. I'm just hallucinating. It's fine.
She grabs him from behind and bites into his throat, and you just see a gush of blood. And somehow she overpowers him and just throws him to the ground. The other one turns towards her
Yeah, I've been
with a look of horror on his face.
Can I make a request, John?
Yes.
Next time you get shot, you say, "Mein Leben."
I don't think there will be a next time.
I think Noah's gone.
There'll be words next time.
David and John, the infantry have formed into ranks behind you. What are you doing?
Does it look like the incoming French forces are being dissuaded from pushing forward, or
It looks like they stopped pushing, and after several shouts from their commanders behind them, they're forming up as well, because they realize that you're probably about to countercharge into them. So instead of trying to just push through you and overwhelm you, they've started to rank up. So there's actually this like 10-foot gap at this point between you and them. They're still firing arrows, but you guys are super heavily armored, and the longbow hasn't been invented yet, so you're doing all right.
Love and life.
sweet. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give the charge order before they're able to rank up and push.
Okay. You give the charge order. Your knights form around you into a wedge, and they make their way right into the center of the line with David and Lawrence on your left and right, and you at the tip of the spear. Meanwhile, in the house, this man turns towards Lydia and tries to raise a pistol towards her, and she moves with unnatural speed and is suddenly behind him, and she does the same thing that she did to the first man. She bites into his neck, and blood gushes out. John, what are you doing?
Trying to keep the blood inside my body.
Okay.
That might be important.
You give... Yep, okay.
Yeah, I'm like scratching back to the, out of sight of both the ground and this horror. Basically into like a doorway.
Roll stamina and resolve for me. Ryan, what are you doing?
Is Marlowe back into the kitchen?
He is. He's out
All
of
right.
view, and there's a guy... but you know that there's a guy that's about to pop his head up and come towards you.
All right.
And it seems like they're going at Marlowe.
Yep. I'm gonna get inside the kitchen door. And I'm gonna shoot at that guy. I'm gonna kind of try to duck in and pop out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take a shot.
Yep.
Josh,
So Lydia's ahead of.
taking care of the 2 guys that are on the stairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kingsley looks towards Noah, and he kneels down and swiftly just grabs window curtain and rips it down and wraps it around his waist quickly, around Noah's waist, and tightens it off, tries to tie it, and also kind of gets his wounded arm into it, basically trying to bandage both wounds swiftly.
Yeah, give me a first aid and composure.
Okay.
Medicine.
Medicine.
Yeah.
As he does it under his breath, he mutters, "Forgive us our trespasses."
John, how'd you do?
I should have saved this roll for my willpower save that I'm about to make later, because I rolled a 6 on 4 dice.
I was actually going to tell you, you'd be better off failing this because it was basically just
If I passed out. Yeah.
And you would have kind of been better off if you passed out.
Rather than witnessing all the horror.
Take me out.
3 successes
3 successes
on 4 again.
Things
Turn around. Turn this franchise right around.
Moving on up.
You managed to stop the bleeding. You see that has passed through, and you're not sure if he's going to make it, but you stop the bleeding, and he seems like he's conscious, and he's kind of calming down a little bit. And as you're doing this, you hear screams around you. You see that most of the men have made their way out of the room and into the halls of the house in retreat. A couple of them maybe went into the kitchen. You're not sure. Ryan, how'd you do?
I'm going to use a willpower. I had 1.
Oh, okay.
I have 2 now.
Okay. You hear a shot come from the kitchen, and you see Lydia just jump off of the railing from the second floor and make her way into what remains of these men.
Kingsley reaches down and grabs Noah's sidearm, pulls his revolver out, and takes his revolver with 2 shots left in it and puts it in his hand and says, "Let none of them more pass," and moves down the staircase.
Okay. You make your way down the staircase in time to see this guy go over the barricade, and then you hear a rifle shoot, and he kind of stumbles back. He's not dead, but Les must have shot him from the kitchen door. But you can take a shot at him.
All right.
What a
See if you can finish him off.
fight scene.
Yeah.
3.
Nice.
3
Okay.
and 4 again, dude.
You shoot him in the back after Les shoots him and kind of knocks him backwards, and he goes down. Les, you put your rifle down and you look and you see Kingsley standing in the middle of the foyer, kind of out in the open, but with a pistol, bravely just kind of walking towards the
Equal
kitchen.
parts bravery and ignorance.
And you hear
Easy.
Mr. Burke, you may want to find some cover.
you hear screams come from the house.
Oh, maybe not.
John, you see a man get pulled into a shadow.
Hey, you want to buy some laudanum?
I was just thinking about a guy who takes laudanum and then gets offered another substance that makes him a Superman.
You make your
Cocaine.
Kingsley, you make your way into the kitchen door where you didn't even know he was here, but where Les is, and you see that behind him you see Marlowe and his children safe in the room. His older daughter is actually bandaging him up, and you guys hear a couple more gunshots and some more screams as men try to escape the house or hide in closets or just wet themselves and die. The screams eventually die out, and the house is silent. As the sun comes up on Christmas Eve, the house is filled with the dead.
Do I catch on fire when the sun hits me?
Meanwhile, in Dover, the battle has been won. Prince Louis is in retreat, has given up on trying to siege the castle. He's got too many men for you to fight them, but he's given up on the castle. You've moved back in, relocked the gates, and are celebrating your victory. You've also received word that reinforcements will be here in 3 days. You've stopped the siege. Lawrence comes over to David and says, I have never seen anything like that. Such bravery, such brazen tactics.
It is as different as the day and night. He is a changed man, that is for certain.
This power could be used for such good for our people, but he just kind of shakes his head.
I fear that the power is a burning blade. If held too long, it will burn the wielder.
Matt, you see that they're talking very seriously, and you kind of make your way over. You have a feeling they're talking about you.
My lord, a battle well fought.
Lawrence says, what now, my lord.
He's like, first off, my lord, that sounds good.
I am no lord, just, well, suppose champion of the day. Perhaps England.
I am sure the king will make a knight of you for these deeds.
You've been given a great gift, and though it comes from a place of darkness, I can't help but think what this gift could be used for. What did you call it? A blade?
A burning blade.
He'll kind of, John pulls the sword from his scabbard and kind of holds it, letting it, the sun hit it and reflect, and he kind of looks at it and sees the blood of the soldiers on the blade as well, and he'll walk over to a window and he'll look out over the fields of the fallen soldiers. Great things indeed. But for who?
For England, for our families. We are all preserved because of the deal you made.
Aye, but what if when the time comes? When
Sir,
she comes to collect it?
We must ensure that this power never falls to evil.
We must be your guardians, sir.
The priest comes over as well, overhearing your conversation. And he says, this power must not be returned to the devil. But I fear that taking your life may not simply stop it. He looks at David and Lawrence, almost knowing what their plan was. He says, this will be inherited. You have a son, yes?
I do. Gods.
The devil always collects his due, and taking your life will not end this curse. It will simply postpone it.
Will the sins of the father fall to the son then? Will it be prolonged? Will he have 50 years?
The priest nods.
50 years of greatness.
He says Romans 5:12. Just as through one man sin entered into the world, and death through sin, and so death spread to all mankind, because all sinned. This is a sin that will follow your family line. And the best that we can hope is to stop it before it takes hold in their soul.
Huh. Lawrence, David, promise me that your line will follow mine. That your heirs will free mine from this deal.
Lawrence says, you have my word, sir.
David is nodding, and he says, you have my oath as well.
Good. You not need worry about me. I will do what's needed when necessary.
Brother Weston says, then we shall form an order of knights. The Knights of the Burning Blade. Yeah.
Let it be so.
He'll hold his sword out.
Oh.
And ignite it.
Just gonna try.
Hellfire.
Concentrates real hard.
Lawrence does the same. Brother Weston pulls out a dagger and puts it on there.
And David draws his as well.
Your bloody blade. That actually wasn't yours. And that is where we will stop.
Sweet.
Shit done changed in the side.
Fighting on all fronts, including the past.
Wow, good job, guys. Good job with your NPC characters. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Nastagram RPG podcast. A few quick thanks for our badass intro music, A Wilhelm Scream. They have an awesome new album, Lose Your Delusion. Go check it out. For our outro music, Adrian Von Ziegler. All scores are by Adrian Von Ziegler and Antti Marttikainen. No Dean on this arc, but if you want to listen to him, check out the great shows over at Liberty Street Geek, The Lost Drive-In, Kirking Off for your Star Trek love, and Mind Killer for some Dune talk. Lastly, guys, this is our 4th arc, and we are loving it. We have a lot more planned. To do that, we need you. You hear it all the time, but it's true. Podcasts won't exist without listeners, and we need your support and involvement. Ratings, reviews do make a huge difference, and so does telling people about the show. People that like role-playing game, people that like storytelling, anybody think that might dig this. So spread the word, spread the love. We got a lot more coming. See you next week.
That's nasty.